back to Coaches at Crown Brew Getting Coffee. I want to welcome you again for taking a little break. Hope you had a great holiday and a great Christmas time and time with family. We're good to be back again and get on a roll here with some great coaches, and today is no exception. I've got to thank Ross and Abby. Abby's here today. Ross is on an adventure somewhere, but Abby's here today taking good care of us. And don't forget about Crown Brew letting us do this, Swinford Media, Swinford videography and photography for your wedding needs. If you've got a wedding coming up or know someone that does, Ross will do the video and Abby will take care of the photography, and they will take great care of you and capture those memories for you. I want to thank my buddies at Adrenaline Fundraiser. Jeff and Matt do an amazing job of raising money. And I want to thank my buddy Tony Gooch at Marion Plumbing. I am living through a plumbing crisis as we speak today. And Tony Gooch was my first phone call as it approached a couple of days ago. And he's the best. He takes great care of all of his people, took great care of Coach Martin. So thanks to Tony for your commercial and residential plumbing needs. Tony Gooch is your guy. My guest today is legendary Mount Vernon basketball coach Doug Creel. I got a few stats here. He didn't provide me very many because
I didn't give you any.
So I had to do my own research, which is okay. 348 wins make him the winningest coach in Mount Vernon school history. And that says a lot because I believe Mount Vernon is 6th all-time in the state of Illinois for winning ball games. There have been some great coaches, and we'll talk about some of those. 19 seasons, he won 8 regionals, 4 sectionals, a super-sectional, and a trip to the IHSA State Tournament. You know, I've had a lot of people text and say, when is Doug Creel going to be on your podcast?
Oh, I can't believe that.
That's true. And I finally said, that's it. I'm going to make the call. So I want to welcome you and thank you for being here because there's a lot of folks out there that are fans of your coaching, and I know the Mount Vernon community is really proud of the 2 stints you had there and all you've done there. And even my nephew texted me and said, I heard it's going to be Coach Creel. Yeah. He said, I learned all my basketball from Coach Creel.
Yeah, I got a couple of Derek stories for you.
We'll get to Derek. Okay. Let's talk about your childhood. You grew up in Mount Vernon?
Grew up in Mount Vernon, born and raised there, and it's got away college and came back, and it's been good. You know, sometimes it's not always fun to come back to your hometown.
Sometimes, but, it can be a challenge.
It was a challenge, but it's worked out great.
Growing up, did you family, mom and dad, brothers, sisters? What'd you have?
I had one brother, one older brother, and just started out really was involved in athletics. Baseball was my big thing starting out, and played that at a young age, and then kind of got into basketball and I got more and more the action. Yeah. You know, in baseball, I've always said, like, it's a mental, all sports are mental, but I felt like baseball really mental, and nobody really ever talked to me about, like, if I went 0 for 5, you know, I made myself miserable and anybody else around me miserable. Nobody talked about, hey, listen, you got to let that go. Yeah. Tomorrow's a new day. Hey, you're going to hit well tomorrow. You did some good things at your at-bats, even though you didn't get a hit. But just kind of gravitated away from that because, you know, it's a lonely feeling if you're at shortstop and you've made 3 errors and you're 0 for 5.
Yeah. And you got to take failure in baseball as a big part of it. You know, we make Hall of Famers out of guys that hit 3 hits out of 10 at bats, and sometimes there's a lot of failure in baseball because it's tough. It's tough to be good, and it's tough to be consistently good day after day after day. So you have those days where it doesn't go well. So
well, you have to, and that's another thing that I tried to do with my kids. I always talk to them about it's good to fail. It's good to struggle because that's where you learn, you get better.
That's right.
No parent ever wants to watch their kid struggle because there was times my youngest, like Jackson, I just left him on the mound, even though he was getting hit, because I wanted him, hey, you got to dig in, you got to keep competing because things don't always, of course, like you said, go the way you want them to go. And
I know we've lost some of that.
We've lost a lot of that.
We want to rescue our kids from failure so much nowadays, and I think back to my playing career and my coaching career. going through some rough seasons was a real challenge,
Yeah.
but man, I got better. I had to.
Yeah.
And I think it forced me to make some decisions and choices I wouldn't have otherwise made, and probably saved my career. Having some bad seasons my first few years here,
Right.
made me a better coach down the road. So I appreciate you saying that. Now,
I agree with that, because like our 99 team, really good. We did a lot of things, but as we got away from that team a little bit, and we weren't as good, you really have to start paying attention to all the little details, because you're no longer doing those. You're not getting those extra possessions. You're not making this play. You're not hitting these shots. And all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I got to really dig in, pay attention to every little detail. I think the best coaching idea is when the team that we only won 8. We started a bunch of sophomores. We probably should have only won about 4, and we squeezed out 8. Sounds like a bad year, but that's when you really have to keep your team going, keep the morale going, keep everybody unselfish.
Yep. Those are challenges.
Tough.
And
tough.
You have to make some decisions that may take you out of your comfort zone, because this team can't do what maybe previous teams could do. Maybe something you're comfortable doing, and so you say, well, maybe we got to slow it down now. Maybe we got to hang on to the ball and take. I know your teams have done that.
Yeah.
And
the year after the 99 team, that team started out trying to play like them, couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So we had to kind of reinvent ourselves.
Sure.
And then as the line went on, I got a reputation as holding the ball, doing this and that, but it wasn't so much holding the ball. We couldn't score.
Yeah.
We didn't have shooters. And I knew against good people, I didn't like playing that way, but I knew against good people, hey, for us to have a chance to win, we better control the tempo, we better guard, we better make them take tough shots and block them out and get it, and be very selective, and we got hard to beat that way.
Well, some of the best coaching I did was when I learned, when I played Cahokia, to go to our double tight offense and keep the ball away from them, control the clock, keep their offense on the sideline, and just make them play in a phone booth and try to negate some of that athleticism rather than try to run up and down the field with them. And I think basketball has some similarities like that. And I think,
well, we have more of an advantage because we don't have to snap it. Everyone is at 35 or 40 seconds.
But the thing I learned was, if that's what it takes, then that's what we have to do. And it wasn't something I wanted to do with some of the teams I had, but it's something we had to adjust and do because of their talent level. So I love that. You grow up and you're playing. Who was your high school coach?
Well, I had Sonny Ellis up to my junior year. Then Keith Law came in, and if I could do 2 seasons over, it'd be my junior and senior year.
Why do you say that?
Well, because I think I'm a team player to a fault.
Yeah.
And I wasn't physically or mentally ready to take charge of some things. And I think we had a team that we just did. When you walk out on the court, you like to look at the other 4 guys and know they got your back and they like you and you like them. We didn't necessarily have that.
Yeah, that's tough.
And then when I got to Rend Lake, even some guys that were kind of my enemies at Benton, we became really good friends.
Yeah.
Now, most times we got off the bus, we weren't scaring anybody because we didn't look the part. But those guys were unselfish, played hard, scrapped, didn't care if they shot, didn't care if they scored, just trying to win. And I really wasn't used to that environment. And I know you had, we were going to talk about some things, but I feel like that's what I tried to instill. Like, I never talked about scoring with all my teams. Yeah. Because that's what everybody talks. I talked about, hey, you can do so many things to affect the game. Yeah. You can rebound, make an extra play, get that ball, screen, get your guy open. I played some guys that would not be picked in a rec league. Yeah. They'd be the last ones. But what they did was they played hard, they guarded, they didn't shoot it because they knew they couldn't shoot it. They didn't throw it away. They would screen and they would smash somebody, like rebounding the ball. Yeah. They never hurt us. They helped us. Yeah. Now, if you wanted them to score and be a wheeler dealer, wasn't going to happen.
Money ball right there, right? Find guys that can
money ball
what they can do,
right,
and have them do what they can do well. That's good coaching.
Well, you know as well as I do that sometimes the best guys don't make the best team, especially in basketball, because everybody gets to touch it, and you got to define roles a little bit.
Yeah.
You define them by like, hey, your center's not going to turn around and flip flop with your quarterback,
right,
or in baseball, the center fielder, he might run in, but he's not going to just run in on his own and say, hey, I want to pitch to this guy. Coach is going to make that. But everybody gets to touch the ball in basketball.
That's an interesting way of thinking about that, yeah.
And you got to really, now, you have some that will define some role. I mean, that will play their role well. And I'm going to get off track here a minute, but I have given this speech for 30-some years where I talk to parents. Most of them don't listen, but I give it anyway for my benefit and for kids. And I'm like, if you really, truly want to enjoy this experience playing, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, whatever you're playing, I said, you as a parent and as a player should concentrate on three things. Playing hard, being a hard worker, coming every day, not just physically, but mentally. You know the difference between being mentally prepared to, hey, get better, get our team better. The other one is like being coachable. And I feel like that's going out the window. And for example, I was telling, I'm helping with the freshman team this year. And I was talking to a freshman player, and he took a terrible shot. And I'm like, hey, listen, that's a bad shot. And he's kind of giving me and I'm like, we want you to shoot it. And you're going to shoot it. But if we pass it around, you're going to even get a better shot. Yeah. And you like that better. There's no reason for you to force one, throw it up, and miss the whole rim. That's not a good shot. And the last one is being a good teammate.
Yeah.
And I talk to them, if you concentrate on those three things about your kid, hey, like in your program, you will love the football team, you will love your coach Martin, you'll love that experience. But if you want them to be the quarterback, or if you want them to bat third, or if you want them to be the leading scorer or the star, or who gets the most press, you're going to be miserable. You're not going to like the team. You're not going to like the coach. You're going to hate that experience. The ones that have really loved it are those kind of guys or gals. I shouldn't just say guys. But, hey, they play hard. Because there's times like it coaching my son at the high school level and at Rend Lake when I was helping Brian. If he had a tough night shooting, I'd be a little frustrated. Then I'd go like, hey, wait a minute. Did he play hard? Yeah, he played really hard. Was he cheering on his teammates and trying to help them? Yes. And was he coachable? Yeah, and I'm like, I don't have a problem. Yeah. I don't know what I'm.
It's a great philosophy.
Because he's not always going to shoot.
And those are controllables, though.
Yes.
Sometimes,
absolutely.
Those shots you miss, sometimes it's just not going. It could be the defense, the way the kid's on you. But those three things you mentioned are controllables. Right. You have the choice of doing those three things.
Yeah. And I pounded that into my kids. Yeah. My own kids. And I tried to pound it into the kids that I coach.
Does that freshman kid know that you're the winningest coach in school?
Probably not.
What do you know?
Hey, listen, here's my problem. Like yesterday, I broke my tooth eating a Tootsie Roll, sucker, which I shouldn't have been. I know better than that, but I'm not very smart. And then in practice, I got frustrated with something, so I got out there. I was going to show them and running and tripped and fell on my back, about broke my back. Popped back up, I thought, 65, I thought I still think I'm 30, but my feet and my legs didn't work out.
Your brain says do this.
Brain was talking, I don't even know what happened to my feet.
Yeah.
It didn't happen, but.
I got a phone call several years ago to come out and play a little 7-on-7 with some older guys. And about 10 minutes into it, I realized that something had happened in my life where
Yeah.
I saw the ball, I went for the ball, but getting there was now a real challenge. And I said, this is not going to happen again. I told the guy, I said, you're a good friend. I appreciate the phone call, but I'm not playing anymore.
I did that with youth baseball when I got out for a few years.
Oh.
It got to the point where they hit a shot back at me, and my mind's going, move, move, move.
Yeah, I
And
know.
the
right?
body did not move,
Yeah.
and I took a hit.
I don't know when it actually happened. It had been several years since I had tried to play the game. I'd been coaching it.
Right.
But boy, nothing transferred to my body like it used to. So.
brain's doing it, and body not doing it. But I was going to go to one more thing about Kent Williams. And Kent, when he coached at Tennessee and Missouri State, he always talked about recruiting. This is another thing for parents. He always wanted to see that player struggle. He said, I'd rather see them not have a good game shooting the ball. And, of course, he explained why. He said, because I want to see how he reacts.
Amen to that.
Is he going to pout? Is he going to put his head down? Is he going to come out of the game and not slap his teammates? Is he going to dig in and try to dive on the floor, rebound, do some things that still help the team, or is he going to be selfish? And that's hard to fight because when you're not shooting the ball well, it really affects. And you got to really, really fight that. But I always thought that was good that he said.
That's a great thing.
He said, hey, I'm there. I know the kid can play.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be there watching him. But we want to see him struggle a little bit, see how he's going to act. And
There was a Division I athlete locally that was being recruited pretty heavily years ago. And a very prominent college coach came to Southern Illinois to recruit him. And they're showing him some highlights. And the story is he wanted to see other plays.
Right.
He wanted to see plays when he wasn't getting the ball. He wanted to see him on the other side when the ball's running this way. And finally he told him, he said, I want to see what he does when he doesn't have it. I know he can play. I know when he's got the ball, he's special.
Right.
What's he do when he doesn't have the ball? And I love that because you're right. That tells you something about what's right here, Doug. And
so you're running down that field blocking.
That's right. For his teammates.
For his teammates.
Yep.
Is he cheering his teammates? Is he?
Yep.
That's big.
That's really cool. And so you're playing basketball in high school. I got to share this. I believe it's 1981. I'm a Salem High School guy, and we held the sectional every year. Now I don't know where you're at in 1981.
1981, I would have been at Jacksonville State.
Okay, so you missed it.
Playing my junior year.
Okay, well, I'll never forget, Mount Vernon played Effingham in the sectional title game.
Okay.
I signed up to work the concession stand just so I could get in the gym.
Right.
The players,
was that Uwe Blob
it was,
time? Okay.
And then the game has not even, the warm-ups haven't started.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, the gym is half red and white and half black and orange. And it is tense.
Yeah.
And the kids come out to shoot around, and they got standing ovations. And I stuck my wife into the concession area so she could come to the game.
Right.
And it was a great atmosphere. Mount Vernon and Effingham. That I'll never forget that game because that was such an intense game.
Yeah,
and
I can believe that.
But it reminds me of the tradition of Mount Vernon basketball has been so strong. It wasn't just a window of time. It's been good.
Right.
I did the research. We'll talk about some of the legendary coaches, but man, there's been good coaches all the way through. And so you carried that when you became the coach there. You knew this was the expectation is to win. Yeah. When's the desire to coach step in? At what point in your life? When you were in high school? Was it college?
Well, my mom wanted me to be a dentist, which I could have fixed this tooth now.
Exactly. Yeah, saved yourself some money.
But I think I did the right thing. Yeah. I feel like I don't feel like I was a good administrator. I did okay. I did okay with the day-to-day things, but I wasn't a thinker down the line. Hey, we got to get a new building, or we got to get this. Big picture stuff. Big picture stuff. Yeah. I feel like I wasn't. I feel like I was a better teacher and a better coach in the ditch. I feel like day-to-day I was better in there than I was out and about. So I just liked staying with the game. I love practices.
I did too.
I love to practice. And as a player, I had a lot of, and as a coach too, we can talk about, I had a lot of anxiety issues. I had some, so I got out for 6 years And one of the reasons I got out was because anxiety was eating me up, and my wife said, "That's enough. You got to get out."
Was it based on expectations you put on yourself?
I think a little bit of it is just how I'm wired. I got to the point where there was a couple nights we were playing Marion, as a matter of fact, and my wife said, "Hey, you got to get down there and get going." That was my last year before I got out, the first time, and I just struggled mentally, and hate to admit that because then you're admitting that you're. Because I was scared and miserable every game day. I hated game days. And I just wanted, once I got into battle a little bit and things got going, I did okay. But just getting to that point. And as a player, I did the same thing. You know, when you're in that fight or flight mode all day long, I was wore out for when I got to the game. And it's like, just did not turn it off. And
I think you might be surprised, but how many coaches have been on here that say how much they love practice and preparation, but didn't love game night. And I think
hated it.
The first time I heard a coach say that, I was at a clinic, and a very, very good Missouri State coach said that, and I had a sense of relief because I thought I was the only one.
Right.
And since then, I mean, I've had numbers of coaches echo that same thing. They love the preparation. They didn't mind the summer stuff. They didn't mind two-a-days. But game night became something they had to survive. You know, and I know what you mean. Once you get into the game, it's okay.
Yeah.
But it's the anticipation of that of the start.
I think some of it is, you know, and I'm sure you're the same way. You want to control.
Yeah.
The rest of my life is kind of chaotic and all over the place. But in basketball, I want to control. Sure. Kind of like my wife controls the environment. Otherwise, that's the only environment I control. And you know as well as I do, there's only so many things you can do. You know, you can't anticipate somebody throwing a pass out there on the flat on the first play of the game against IU in Oregon, and he runs a pick six. You know, that's a nightmare. But
it's a razor-thin game.
Yes.
And on the first play, it's 7-0. So you went to Rend Lake, and then you went to Jacksonville State.
Yeah.
How was the college experience?
Loved it. And I'm going to tell you why. And I hate this now for other young men or young ladies, because Jacksonville State was it was Division II.
Right.
We played UT Martin, North Alabama, Troy. It was a great conference, but it was Division II. Yeah. It was a little bit lower level. And it was a neat campus because we had a great football team. Yeah. I mean, you know, in the South, it's football. It's not basketball. Yeah. And even there, you know, you're like at Jacksonville State, even though you're a Gamecock, you're either for the Tide or you're for the Auburn Tigers. I mean, you still had to pick.
Had to make a decision. Yeah.
And I was always with all my friends and guys down there were Alabama guys, so I'm still kind of an Alabama football guy. But it's that experience. And now the Division II schools, a lot of them don't even, you know, they're small, real small. They don't even have a football program. Yeah. And I hate that because I wasn't a Division I guy, even though a lot of Division I guys filtered down into our league because at that time they could play right away. Sure. They didn't have to sit out. But I thrived in that level, and it was fun. It
2 years?
We had 2 years. And we had rivalries. You know, Troy was a big rival, North Alabama, UT Martin. We had big crowds, and now they're playing people that nobody, all over the country. They're playing teams, but now the Division IIs are small little schools that don't have football and that's one of the things like Jackson. He could have gone Division II and play. He chose to go to IU and walk on, which worked out great. He had a tryout. They loved him, and he loved that. But he wanted like the big school. He wanted like to go to the football game and be part of this and go to their baseball game. And so I'm glad he got to do that. Yeah. But now a guy like me, I don't know that they can get the whole football. And hey, we stayed in an athletic dorm. Yeah. I think everybody needs to stay in the athletic dorm. Sometime, because the basketball team was first floor, football were the next 2 floors, and it was an experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was an experience.
And so
they love football down there.
And you're going there. You played 2 years there, and so you are preparing to be a teacher, preparing to be you want to go into coaching, right?
Yes.
You get out, and I understand you taught in Atlanta as your first job. Did you try to get back here first, or did you?
No, I took that job at Walker High School. It's not even called Walker High School anymore. And it's in DeKalb County. And it was pretty rough at that time. The school had flipped as far as students that went there. And I remember I was there about 3 or 4 days, taught PE, and somebody stole my hubcaps off my Impala. And I was mad, thinking, what in the world? So I went to a pawn shop. Probably bought my hubcaps back, by the way. But I got new hubcaps. A couple of days later, somebody stole the teacher's car, and I thought, oh.
I just have my hubcaps.
I just have I'm doing good.
I didn't know the value of an Impala hubcap was such a big deal.
Somebody took them. And I can't imagine now, because that was a long time ago.
You were there for a year.
Yes.
And then Thompsonville.
2 years at Thompsonville.
Was that an attempt to get back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I love the Thompsonville kids. They're not kids, because I wasn't much older.
No, I know. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah. I still call them kids because I think of them as, and now they got grandkids.
I know.
This and that. But they were, I kept a lot of guys who weren't really, really super talented. But, they played hard. They were very coachable. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun coaching those guys.
Small town, small school.
I have good memories with all those Thompsonville kids.
Yeah.
Both in the classroom and coaching.
Yeah, and they still on occasion have really good basketball teams there at Thompsonville.
Yeah. We played that old little bitty gym.
Yeah,
they got a new one now.
Yeah. So you end up getting the job at Mount Vernon. So it comes open, and you're young, right? I mean, So let's talk about the transition from Thompsonville to getting a job at Mount Vernon.
Okay.
So talk about that.
Well, when I went to Mount Vernon, they hired me as an assistant basketball coach. And I also did a little bit of everything. I taught some English. I did lunchroom detention. You know how that is.
New guy.
I did it all.
Yeah.
And just to get my foot in the door. And then I actually taught English just full time for quite a while. And then I got dean of students, which I did it for 4 years. And I thought I did a pretty good job of it. I did some things probably that might get me in trouble now, as far as how you handle kids and doing some things. But, that first year I didn't get burned out till about 3/4 away. The next year, about halfway through. My third year into the first quarter. And then my last year was like, I got to get out. But one thing that coaching did for me, I got to walk across the street, whether I was helped coach football, for Coach Pan coached a little bit, and basketball. That was my saving grace.
Yeah.
Because I dealt with trouble all day long, and we had trouble. We still have lots of trouble.
And a lot of the same kids.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
So over and over. So then I got to go over and enjoy that part of it. So that kind of saved me, but wasn't very smart because I was coaching. I thought that's what you're supposed to do. I was coaching 3 sports. I was dean of students, just driving myself in the ground. But that's kind of what we did.
I did the same thing. I did the 3 sports. I did the dean of students for 2 years and was miserable doing it. Don't think I was very good at it. Did the AD for a couple of years while I was dean of students. So I mean, I'm like you. I've had all those roles. Yeah. And I didn't keep them very long myself. I just I looked for something else. But so how long were you an assistant before you take the head basketball job?
I was an assistant for Lee Emery for 9 years, which probably wasn't all bad.
Yeah.
Because I learned a lot from him. He was on the way out, and I just learned a lot of things about the game because I felt like I learned to be solid in everything. Hey, you win games in the half court. Hey, you win games because you get better shots than them. You win games because you make them take a tough shot and you don't let them get it back. And that's kind of how I coached early. Yeah. Once I became the head coach, it's like, hey, I can remember many times that young group with Kent being a freshman and those guys coming through talking about last 2 or 3 minutes of the game. Right, hey, who's going to win this game? Who's going to take care of the ball? Who's going to get a good shot? Who's going to break down defensively? It's not going to be us. We're going to be solid. We're going to get a good shot. Both times you win. Sometimes that doesn't play out, but for the most part, it does. So I really felt like I learned a lot there. Just being sound and solid. Don't give up easy baskets. Because like I talked to Jackson today about too many live turnovers to Michigan State last night when IU played up there, led to easy baskets, and those kill you when they're really good and they're probably better than you man for man throughout the lineup. And if you give them easy stuff like that, you know how that is. You have a couple turnovers, some bad plays against a good team, it's not going to go well for you. So
can't help them out.
Yeah. So I always felt like, hey, big games won in half court.
Yeah.
You can press anybody, take the ball away from them, but a good team, you're not going. You better be able to execute in the half court because they're going to get you there. And if you look at the scores of basketball games when that postseason starts, 47-45, 39-37, because people are the good teams are hunting great shots,
right,
and they're guarding you.
Yeah.
And I try to tell our guys, like, hey, if you play somebody good, you're not going to get a good shot off 1 or 2 passes. Otherwise, they're not good.
That's right.
You've got to break them down and grind them a little bit to get somebody to make a mistake. And I just felt like our teams were pretty good at that. Of course, people are doing that to us now. It's kind of flipped.
Well, and you've got to do that in the regular season so that you can do it. You can't wait till the postseason and say, hey, now we're really going to crank up that defense and make people work. I mean, I know your teams, start with the expectation of that from day one.
I always played because I would think about, like you mentioned Cahokia, I always thought about who are the best teams on our schedule. We got to play Edwardsville, and we got to play these guys and these guys. I always tried to play the way we needed to play every day, every game, to beat Edwardsville, to beat Centralia, to beat Carbondale when they were, our conference there for a while. Like Cahokia got second, Althoff was second, won it. Carbondale got second that one year. Yep. Got beat by Shire. They ended up going to Duke. I mean, Centralia, I think, we were really good, and we couldn't win our conference because our conference was like winning state championships or second. And Carbondale had a load of great players, and man, it was a great conference then.
But made you better. I mean, you had to play at a high level just to compete in your conference, and that's twice a year with each team. I mean, that's a big deal. Yeah,
we had wars with, Centralia, our rival, and they were good. And now I look back, I can feel good about those. Like when I talk to Centralia people and some of the players that we went against, like, hey, those were great battles. I'm glad I did it. It wasn't fun while I was doing it, but I'm glad we did it. And
one of the best parts about retirement is a chance to do something we never do during our career, and that's reflect and think back and not worry about those teams anymore because we still have to play them, but just think back about some of the ball games and some of the rivalries. That's a lot of fun to do, and I'm looking at film now that I haven't looked at in 15 years because I didn't want to look back. I always wanted to look ahead, but now I can say, I'm going to look at some of this old film, and then I'll text a player. I've said this before on here. I'll text a player and say, hey,
that's good.
I just want to let you know, I just watched a film of you in 2016. Yeah. You were dang good, Yeah. So, and they love that.
Yeah. Absolutely, they're going to love that.
So Mount Vernon tradition. Howard Ross won 271 games from 1921 to 36. Stan Shagnon won 230 from 43 to 52, and Lee Emery won 179 from 85 to 95. By the way, he was at Salem before Mount Vernon.
Yes, he was.
I remember growing up with him.
Yes.
I went to school with his son David.
Yes.
But so you've got this tradition, and that's just 3 IHSA. So there were others. I mean, there were others that maybe had shorter stints, but were still very good.
Yeah.
So the job comes open. Lee retires, I guess, and you said, "I'm going to apply."
Yeah, a lot of pressure there. Lee took care of me. He kind of got me in the role as AD and coach before he got out.
Okay.
So they bought into that, and the good thing for me that I worry about now with young coaches starting out, I had Kent and I had that group come in as freshmen, and now I worry about young coaches. Can they survive long enough? Because parents will get after you. Administration's not as strong. I hope I'm not hurting anybody's feelings, but that's the way,
No.
you cave in a little bit more than they did when I was starting. Like, hey, you get off to a bad start and they might let you go before you even get a chance to get going a little bit. And I think as an AD, one of the good things I did was I always took care of my coaches to a fault. There were some times I probably protected a few of them too much, but
Don't you? But and now I think things that are being said at the kitchen table are now put online.
Right.
So that coach, or his family, his wife, his kids, or they see that and they hear that, and that just adds to it, because maybe people have always said that about us, but now it's very public now. Criticisms become more public, and I think that adds more weight to it when there's a discontent. You might have thought there was, but now you know it and you hear those harsh words. That's hard. So you get off to a great start, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got 95, 96 season was your first year, and it was good, but 96, 97, you went 25-5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a way to start. That's
And
a way to start
that
your
second
run.
year, we went to we played Aurora West. And Aurora West beat us because they had seniors and we had sophomores.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say it that way. They were good.
Sure.
They were a veteran team. And they ended up playing Peoria Manual for the championship. Manual only had 3 Illinois starters.
That's all, yeah.
On their team.
Yeah.
But they were really, really good. I mean, they were good enough to win it.
Yeah.
And they played them the best. They played Peoria Manual the best. And then the next year, Centralia upset us at Salem in the sectional final, beat us in overtime. And the next year, we got clipped by LaFonso Ellis and East St. Louis. And those guys, they played really well that night. Naki got in foul trouble early. Morgan, who's the starter, hurt his knee at Salem when we beat Effingham in the sectional final. But they were better than us. And I remember watching on film later in the game when we're trying to press them. Well, they're throwing it up to Darius Miles. I might have said the wrong guy. But LaFonso Ellis is the one we played when I was with Coach Emery.
Yeah.
But they're throwing up to Darius Miles, and he's just floating. Yeah. And I got Scott Gamber and James. They're digging like this, trying to catch up.
Yeah.
And that reminds me of like Kent talking about when he played in, and here I am bouncing around. But Kent played in I don't know if they called it the G League then or the D League. He didn't really like it because it was all about, hey, I got to try to show out to make the team. But what he said was, I have to play so hard. Yeah. And those guys just float and glide. And Jackson says the same thing. When he got to IU, he's like, those guys are just different.
Yeah.
He said they just float. They conserve energy.
Yeah.
Like I'm having to fight and scrap, and they're just kind of
every moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Every movement's, but that's the difference. And then those guys can't even play at the next level.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, people and that's what I want to tell parents too. And some of them don't even see it then, but I'd like to take them to a game, and I want you to look at those Nebraska guys, and I want you to look at yourself and go like, hey, I just should be glad my kid's playing.
Yeah.
And being involved in a team and getting to play for Coach Martin, and hey, I'm part of this winning team and organization. Be like my dad wanted me to play linebacker at Alabama. It ain't going to happen. My mom probably weighed about 105 pounds. I got skinny little legs like my mom. You know, and that's not fair. Like, hey, I'm 6'2", 202. I'm not 6'2", 235.
Well, it's the truth, though. And
It is the
I
truth.
think people just have this false idea of what good is until they don't.
They don't know. You know what's out there, and I know what's out there.
Yeah, well,
they don't know that.
Recently, I just Googled the top 100 high school football players in the year 2000. And of course, it kicked it out for me. I had heard of like 5 of them, which tells me, and I'm not saying they all didn't make it, but I only knew 5 of the 100 that were names I recognized in the NFL or college, which means that the other 95 guys were projected as the best players in the country, and they didn't make it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, that is, and it just, I did it on purpose to see. The projection is these are the stars of the future, and they weren't.
Right.
You know, and a lot of guys weren't on that list, but these guys were as good as you could be in high school, and they didn't make it.
Well, a little bit of that is what you and I know, because you've heard Saban talk about, like, I've heard the Alabama guys go like, hey, the guy that played behind me was better than me physically, but I'm in the right place every time. I know my assignment, and I do my assignment. He doesn't. That's why he doesn't get to play. But he's a freak behind me, but he's never in the right place. He doesn't do what he's supposed to do. And another thing is, I know I'm getting off track, but I tell parents too, like, they gotta fit the system.
Amen.
And when you got to trust them as a coach. It's hard to tell a parent, like, I don't trust your son or daughter, because when they come in, they chuck the ball away, they take terrible shots, they don't play defense, they don't get in the right spots. He physically may be better than him, but he's doing the right thing. I know when I put him in what I'm going to get.
Huge element of trust there.
Yes. Like, you're not going to put a quarterback who's, hey, every now and then he may break one and look like a All-American, but he throws it away, he doesn't run the play, he throws it to the wrong spot or messes up the handoff. Of course, you know the football a lot better than I do, but you trust that guy, and you know what he's going to give you and where he's going to go with the ball. There's a lot to that, and that's why you're talking about a lot of those guys don't make it, because they don't. And Jackson has talked about that, like, hey, this guy is a freak athlete, but you know what? He'll say, didn't play hard, he's not very tough.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a guy that's walking on. He's like, man, if I had his body and the things he could do. And I think sometimes, too, as we as coaches, my wife gets on me a lot, like the freshman group doesn't pick things up very well. And some of it is haven't been taught. I'm hitting them with a lot of things. But I think the ability just to think on your feet, I think some guys have that and some guys don't. And I can't imagine if I couldn't remember a play, or just like when you said something, I go blank. I don't know what I'm supposed to do in this play.
Especially in a pressure situation.
And I feel like that's one thing Jackson did well. And my good players, like, they could think on their feet. They could go do this. They could stay. And that's why, like, in practice, I create havoc. I still do. I'm just hollering and getting after them and change this drill. And because if they're dealing with that every day, then the game kind of slows down.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's important that you create that practice chaos, because the games are chaos. It's going to be things you didn't expect, calls you didn't expect, you know, changes in down and distance, turnovers happen. How are you going to respond to that? I love that, Coach. And you went on a run of, looking at your numbers, a year of 25, 25, 28, and 21 wins. In 98 and 99, you went 28 and 1.
Yeah.
Tell me about that season. Who was the one? That's the.
Oh, we got beat by East St. Louis, and
that's the East.
Super-sectional.
Wow.
It was Darius Miles and.
Okay, that's the Darius Miles team.
Can't remember the guy that went to Bradley, started every game for them, and their point guard went somewhere, and they shot the lights out, and that was trouble for us.
Was it a close game?
No. Well, I think they beat us 13, but we could never get over the hump. They boxed and won.
Yeah.
Kent went and got his.
Yeah.
28 points. But the problem was we couldn't score around a basket because they got their big guys hanging out. Coach Waldo, who I learned a lot from Edwardsville, talked to me about, hey, a lot of this game is going to depend on how you react when you get your shot blocked. And I'm like, well, we've had our shot blocked before. Not like first play of the game down there on the baseline, and then on the opposing team's sideline, John Nockey took a shot, was wide open, got blocked by Darius Miles, came out of nowhere. And I'm like, we hadn't seen that.
Yeah.
And people were like, wow, how did they get? Well, I'm like, shame on them that they lost games. They shouldn't lose games. They've got he was the number 3 pick in the NBA draft.
Yeah.
He didn't even go to college. I'm like, shame on them that they lost games. If we could have played them again, I could maybe convince our guys hey, we got to hold the ball. But when you're 28-0 and we're gonna go get them.
That's a great year, though.
Yeah.
And so you even had you had years of 19 wins 3 times, a 20-win season, 18-win season. I guess my question is, what is in your thought as a coach, what was the key to the consistency that your teams played and won at?
Well, at that time, you couldn't coach your kids in the summer, and I always tried to do a good job of evaluating my talent. Hey, what can we do? What can we not do? How do we need to play? And so we played a little different depending upon, but it always goes back to what I learned from Emory.
Yeah.
Hey, tough physical defense, break up people's rhythm. Waldo hated playing us because we were actually fouling, because his whole offense was predicated on timing, like in football. If you can mess up the timing a little bit, you can mess them up, and we did that a lot to them, and just controlling. It's kind of like what Centralia does now.
Yeah.
They run a very complicated Princeton stuff. They know what they're doing. Not many teams can do that. And they guard you. They control things. And that's kind of how we – and I always thought that I wanted our kids to be tough and physical. And sometimes we stepped over that line.
Yeah.
And not something I'm proud of, but we did. And that team, we were talking about that team. We took a lot of abuse that year because – I can remember at Marion, we came out, where those locker rooms are. There was a gauntlet leading to the floor, down that all the way to get into Wilson Gym. And they're chanting to Kent John A. Logan, instead of SIU Carbondale. And we would show up and there would be people in the gauntlet just to get us in the gym.
Yeah.
I can remember the old Fallon administration wanted me to do something or suspend a kid because they caught him giving the finger to somebody in the crowd. And I said, hey, now wait a minute. I said, do you think he just picked that person out? Because this was a good kid.
Yeah.
And was giving him the finger because he said, hey, you're a good player. You're doing great. I said, we've put up with a lot of stuff, which was great. But I said, no, we'll have a discussion. But I'm not going to suspend him because I'm sure he was taking some abuse. And we took some. Kent and those guys, when we were juniors, we went to Murfreesboro and we got into a barn burner with Darryl. And what they didn't realize, our guys didn't back down. It got nasty, and we're nasty. And
but teams did that to get you out of your rhythm.
Oh yeah,
they wanted to get in your head, right? And you knew
Well,
that.
there's certain guys you need to leave alone. Kent Williams was one of them.
Right.
You didn't need to give him, because I remember we had to turn around and play Murfreesboro again because we took a lot of bad publicity about we raped and pillaged Murfreesboro and all the things that we did to them down there early. This was the first game of the year. So we listened to that all year long. And I remember we were going to play them in the sectional, first game of sectional at Salem. And I thought, man, I don't want to play those guys again. And Kent said, I want to play them. I said, okay,
we're good, right?
We're good. Yeah. And we got into them. We got into them pretty good.
I love those players that can make those, say those things that give you the confidence that we were getting ready to play a game for a conference title one year at Carterville, and we were really stressed about it. We were undefeated. I think they were undefeated, and one of our starting defensive players, who was a little bit of the captain on defense, put his arm around my brother and myself, and he said, we'll be all right, Coach.
We
got this. You know, and it's like a sense of relief when the players
Right.
have that confidence. It gave me confidence, so it was pretty cool. I got to mention Derek Martin. So my nephew, right? Let's talk about any Derek stories.
Well, I got one with Derek, and Derek was very coachable, played hard, did great. He was better at football than he was basketball, but he did a good job. But we were playing Edwardsville. We were playing them in the Salem tournament, and it might have been for the championship. And we had given away the lead. I think Edwardsville was up 1. We were going to run a play. We threw it to Derek on top key. Derek shot it, missed it. Derek came to the bench. I said, Derek, swing that ball, because he's like, Coach, I was open. I said, yeah, you were open, because Waldo wanted you to shoot it. Yeah, so that was a good one. Not a bad thing, but he's like, Coach, I was open. I'm like, yeah, you were open.
No, he's such a good young man. And
he's a great young man.
He loves sports and speaks highly of you
I love coaching
his coaches. So I'm glad you shared that. But you were out for 6 years.
Right.
What led you to the decision to come back after 6 years? Did you ever think you would come back?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
But you did.
No. I was done. And what I got to do is I got to coach Jackson and all his little guys on lower levels.
Yeah.
Baseball, softball.
Oh, while you were out.
While I was out.
Gotcha.
So as he's a young guy going up through 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, I got to coach them in some basketball, baseball stuff. Yeah. I didn't want to do baseball, but I did it because I didn't want, traveling all over the world, which I wish that people still played at home. Yeah. But that's gone, and I understand that. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to control that. We didn't need to go to Mississippi to get worked over. We could just drive over to Mascoutah and they could work us over. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have to go to those tournaments.
Right.
I know the Bullets are big, and we played the Bullets in this, but just an opportunity to coach them. And I tried to do all the drills like Coach Holloway was our head baseball coach at that time. He was a great baseball coach. But I did his drills and fundamentals. A lot of them, they don't want to practice. They just want to go play.
Go play games.
Go play. And, of course, it's catching up with Americans because the Europeans are all about practicing, skill work, being able to shoot the ball. All their big guys now in basketball, I've changed gears on you, but, hey, they shoot it. They run a lot of 5-out stuff. Yeah. It's not just give me the ball and
let my athleticism take over.
Let my athleticism take over. So I got to do that. Scott found out, I think, he probably would tell you, like, sometimes being the head coach is not all fun. It sounds fun. Yeah. But when it gets right down to it, it's a grind, and people are not real nice. Sometimes he's like, hey, Jackson's getting a little older, you want to get back in? And reluctantly, I got back, but I'm so glad I did.
But a chance to coach your son.
Oh.
And that group of kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
that group of kids, and they did. And the thing, too, that I'm going to talk, and I know I've been all over the place, and I apologize.
No, don't. It's wonderful.
Jackson was one that matured late. I did the same thing. Yeah. And the parents that have those kids that mature late, just keep encouraging them and telling them, because it was always funny in youth baseball. Jackson would come in to the dugout and he'd go, hey, that shortstop's got a mustache. And I'd go like, yes, he does. But the point was just so much bigger, stronger. Yeah. He wasn't as skilled maybe. And that's as a coach, when I go watch a junior high game, I'm watching to see, like, is that guy dominating because he's just physically a man playing little guys? Yeah. Or is he really skilled and playing hard? And there's a big difference. And I hate that too. They set those guys up like they're going to be All-Americans and going to be Division I players. And in junior high they're 6'1" and got a beard. Then they're playing Jackson, who's 5'2" and hasn't matured at all. But sooner or later that all starts evening out. Now they don't know how to go hard. They didn't have to grind. They didn't have to compete and scrap and distribute the ball. And
that is so well said, because some of those guys, and I've coached them,
yeah.
They were superstars in junior high and the expectations, but they have no work ethic.
Right.
Because they've just been better. You know,
just
they're
too
bigger,
easy.
It's just too easy. And
I agree.
then they just don't. They may end up still being good, but
Right.
they never are great.
Right.
And it's
Right.
not because they couldn't have been. They just don't have that work ethic, that hunger, because they've never had to have it. So I love you shared that. That is so true.
And because I just think you have to keep, of course, I'm going back to Jacksonville State. I'm going to bring this around, not this weekend, but next weekend for a basketball reunion. I'm going to ask for my $40 of NIL money down there that they owe me with interest.
Yeah. Where is that $40? Yeah.
But my point being was, I did the same thing. I matured late.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been a 24, 25-year-old college.
Can you imagine how much better you
I
would
was
be?
done playing at 21. I didn't physically mature and muscle up as much as I did till I was 23, 24. I'm done.
It's true.
But I'm looking now like it's game, and I know we can talk about that. The game is just. I watched Nebraska, and they got the big rink kid. He's 6'10", can shoot it. He's got big old strong legs. And I saw where it's his 7th year out of high school. He's 24, going to be 25. I thought, I was done playing at 21.
I know.
And they got 24, 25 years. That's just changed. And I think maybe Indiana's doing what basketball's doing now. They've got a roster full of those 4-year guys, 5-year guys. They're men. Even though this 18-year-old might be the greatest NFL guy, he's still playing against a 20. That's not a fair fight.
It matters.
It does matter.
No, the man I was at 23 or 24 compared to the man I was at 18 is totally
Can you
different.
imagine?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's a great point. So you do the 6 years.
Okay. I'm sorry I get off
track.
track.
It's okay. You had another good run of success.
Right.
Then you decide to retire.
Yeah.
Were you just at that point, now I know I'm done, or did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And you had a
yes,
chance to go to Rend Lake, right?
yes, I got out. Brian Gamber got that job. I coached Brian. I coached both Scotty and Brian. Brian got that job. He said, hey, listen, do you want to help at Rend Lake? And it turned out to be a great thing. I loved it. Hey, we weren't as good because we were trying to get local kids, which I feel like that's probably what JUCO should be.
Yeah.
But I understand, like we're playing Logan and they got Division I guys that have come down, and I'm playing local. But I love that part of the fact that we got to do some things different to compete with them. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But I felt like we played a lot of teams really, really tough, because we're always looking for that guy that, hey, he's not as big, he's not as athletic, but he loves to play. He's tough. And I never went home one time and thought, man, that's terrible practice. Those guys are wearing me out. They like to play.
Yeah. And that's the kind of guys you tried to recruit.
Oh, that's who we recruited. They could shoot it. We weren't as athletic, and we knew we were going to come up short a lot, and we did. But man, it was fun coaching them, and good relationship. I think they had a good experience too, and because we'll see a couple guys like Jackson will go like, hey, the guy playing for Washington, the Peters, I can't remember his name, but he played on that national championship team, and there's a guy playing for this team. He played it maybe at Wabash, and
they made it.
Yeah, he's playing those guys, and we're like, yeah, we played those guys.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's talk some general coaching stuff.
Okay.
Practice philosophy. Short practice, long practice, depends on the time of the year. What was your philosophy on practice design, practice preparation? How'd you do it?
Well, I did shorten it up as the year went on. Basketball's a long season. And one of the things I don't like about it is Thanksgiving. I never enjoyed Thanksgiving, and I didn't really enjoy Christmas because I felt like I'm in the grind. I can't get out of it, get out of that grind. But long year, and as the year went along, I tried to be very organized and get down to business and do what we needed to do. I always tried to use a Monday, because we usually played like Friday, Saturday then. I use a Monday as a fundamental, go back to our fundamentals defensively, offensively, passing, shooting. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, we started building toward game prep. With the good teams, like with Kent and those guys, I changed drills according to when somebody was going to fight somebody. That's how competitive. And I wanted that. Now teams, you couldn't start a fight if you paid them $100. Nobody.
Yeah.
But those guys were after, and Kent set the tone.
Yeah.
When you're better guys, Kent, Nocky, Scott, all those guys, when they're setting the tone, the other guys better.
Yeah.
Because, and I will say this about Kent. People don't know. He looks like a choir boy, but there was never an off drill.
Yeah.
There was never an off day. Now, I'm not talking about how he would have a bad shooting night, but effort and locked in, there was never an off switch.
Yeah.
It was always on, and you want to know why we were good and why he started every game at SIU, Carbondale, probably still, because there's not a switch.
Amen.
Off. And just to tell a crazy story, I remember Scott, I can't remember if it was Scott or it may have been Gus. It may have been Gus come up and say, "Hey, you got to come down and take care of this." Well, the student council was having a 3-on-3. It was like spring fling. It was late in the year. It's supposed to be for fun. Well, I went down there. Kent was playing a couple of our freshmen. 2 of the freshmen were bleeding. And I said, "Kent, come here." I said, you got to back off a little bit with these guys. He's like, "It's their problem." I said, "Okay." So that's kind of how there was not an off switch.
That's how he was wired, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was wired with no off switch.
And you want to know why we're good?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but again, and I'm sure that set the tone for everybody else. I mean, if that's what he does, man, because, sometimes the best player isn't always the hardest worker. Sometimes. Just talent-wise, I mean. But when your best player and your most talented player has got that no off switch mentality.
I had 2 or 3 on that.
Yeah.
And that really helped me. Now, and I felt like, too, like you asked, I carry the practice. I'm a rah-rah, after it, energy, because sometimes I'm exhausted after 2 hours of that or an hour and a half. I'm on them.
Yeah.
And I can proudly say that I'm after them. I'm after them, and sometimes, I may hurt somebody's feelings, and I hate that, but I'm coaching. Like this freshman group, I know they think I'm crazy. If you brought them in there and talked to them, you'd be like, "That guy's crazy, and he fell down yesterday." But I'm coaching them hard like they needed to be coached, and I hope someday they appreciate that, because I'm on them about being lazy, and there's certain things that you just can't take a snap and I'm just going to chuck the ball. There's so much that goes into it.
Yeah.
And you got to pay attention to little things. And I feel like the good players embrace the grind.
Yep.
That group, all my good players, they love doing the little drills like, "Hey, we're working on our passing drill." And it seemed like silly drills, but they went all out. And now, the guys that aren't as good, they think they're way above, like the little drills and shooting. And, you watch, best players in the world are out there form shooting, doing things. Yeah. And if they can do it, you should be doing it.
You hear stories about Kobe Bryant's work ethic, and what time he got up, and where the price he paid to be that good. And then even up to the Olympics, he's out there shooting at 4 or 5 a.m. and the other players are like, "What are you doing?" Next day, he's got 6 or 7. The next day, they're all out there with him.
That was a great story, wasn't it?
Right.
They'd been out all night, and they ran into him. He's got a sweat worked up because he's been in the gym, and they've been out partying. And he turned that around. They wouldn't have won if he wouldn't have come along with that team.
And that's the best players in the world.
Was it Redeem Team they called it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was great.
I remember something Bill Walsh said. Someone asked him about Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. And I'm going to paraphrase the quote, but he said, their greatness comes from the fact they never quit on the little things the importance of the little things in their practice. And so he said the little things, the little details of practice that you might think doesn't matter, mattered to them. And that's what made the difference. I thought that was a profound quote. Yeah.
What a coach that guy was from top to bottom.
Yeah. So you're playing somebody.
Okay.
You get a film on Centralia, Marion, whoever. Give me 3 things you look for. What's the 3 things that stand out? This is how we're going to prepare for this team.
Well, the first thing I look for is how solid are they? Yeah. What are they running offensively? Are they hunting great shots? Are they going to grind us? Are they playing wild? And bring me back, because something just popped in my head. I always loved it when I hear a new coach come in that's going to coach a team that's going to play us, go like, we're going to run and we're going to get after it. We're going to be like, great. Because I know you're going to take bad shots. Your defense is not going to be as good. I love to hear it. I don't ever hear a coach go, you know what? We're going to come down and we're going to grind you. We're going to get a great shot. Defensively, we're going to be physical. It's always about, hey, we're going to run. I always love that.
Yeah.
Now, to get back to what you said, I'm looking to see, are they sound and solid?
Okay.
Defensively, what are they doing? Are they where they need to be? And athleticism, take a look. Problem now is the film world, and I get fooled sometimes.
Sure.
Because, not to pick on Salem, but we're getting ready to play Salem, and I watch a film and go like, oh, Salem, they look pretty quick. I'm like, I'm a little worried. They're quick. Then you get to the game and you go like, no, they're not that quick because it's who they're playing. Yeah. So you got to be careful with film, because you might watch film and go, man, these guys look bad. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, that's because the team they were playing was really, really athletic and big and fast. And
you know, one thing I did, I think maybe it's a fault, I don't know. But if I saw something on a film of my opponent and it was good, I assumed I was going to see that kind of good every snap when I played them.
Yeah.
So I always prepared for the best thing that they did. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Almost to where I think I inflated how good they were, to where my assistant coaches might be like, they're not that good.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but did you see what they did here and on this play and that?
Right.
So, and maybe that's just the way I had to prepare for someone. If I saw,
I did the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good.
I always felt like I was not as good as the guy I was playing against, coaching.
Always.
And I always felt like, hey, we may struggle to get the ball across the court, or we may not be able to make a shot. I wanted to be like, what was the defensive coordinator? I mean, the Buddy Ryan. I wanted to be like the what's the Ryan guy that's on TV all the time? Rex. I want to be like Rex and go like, we're going to beat the crap out of you. We're going to intercept 4 passes.
Do that.
We're gonna crush you. And I'm like, why can't I be like Rex? Because I'm thinking, we're the team going to get crushed.
Yeah, I could never be that guy. And I'm like you. There's a part of me that wanted to have that kind of confidence.
I wanted to have that.
There's a Hall of Fame coach from Southern Illinois. And I won't say his name, but I heard a story one time that he could put a film in, look at about 5 plays, and either say we're in trouble or we'll kill him. Like I could never do that. Like he could tell. And my gosh, the guy that told me that story said he was right every time. Either it was going to be he could tell that quick. I couldn't do that.
Right.
I always assumed I was going to get the best game they've ever played the night I played them.
I think, like I talked to Jackson about, I said, you're going to have to become, if you want to stay in the college game, you got to be a good talent evaluator. I feel like that's what IU has done.
Yeah.
They've evaluated some of those guys that weren't 5 stars and realized, hey, he's really, really good. We need to get him. And I said, then you got to evaluate, do they fit my system, whatever I want to run.
Right.
And I feel like the Jimmy Johnsons of the world, those guys were great evaluators. They could look and go like, that guy can play, or that guy, we got to have that guy. Whereas I might get caught up in like, oh, he plays hard. You know, you get caught up in that, and like, it's not going to help us. Like, I've heard NBA guys that first get into the NBA, like, they bring in a group of guys like, they're the best players I've ever seen, and another guy will go like, they can't help us. Not one of those guys.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that what they've seen, they know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
They know if you can help them or not. And some guys have that knack. They can
I
look
agree.
right away like,
Yeah.
we got to have that guy.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't know that I was that guy. I don't feel like I was any smarter than anybody else. Yeah. I just felt like we got to go hard and we got to be solid.
Are there changes you like in the game as compared to when you? Tell me something you don't like about the game. How about you? You mentioned earlier it's very much about athleticism, less focus on fundamentals. Would you say? But is there what else?
Well, when I got back, prior to that, Kerry, I was a true motion guy. We had some things some quick hitters and stuff, but I tried to put my good guys in good positions to go to work. And we tried to read. We taught reading the defense. Like if you followed Ken around, we're going to do this. If you went under, he's going to do this, and our screener's going to. We were always trying to put you in bind. Waldo always did that to us. His was a little bit more controlled. So when I got out for 6 years and I came back, it was like, whoa. There was no more motion, no more playing without the ball. It was all about give me the ball and let me go to work. Now, I had some guys that could do that, but unfortunately, I wanted them to learn a little bit of the other part because when we got people who are just as good as us or better at that, like Althoff, who won it all and got second another year, beat the tar out of us because they were better at it than we were. Yeah. And I hate that part. There's nothing wrong with high ball screens and getting to the rim and people standing in the corners. But I feel like the European game, and I see the game changing back to guys running off screens, guys getting shoot it or finding a place now, not just being an athlete. And I saw that Nebraska team, and Jackson and I talked about them just last weekend. The guys coming off the bench, they could all shoot it. They knew what was going on. They were solid deep. You could tell, like when they trapped, all their guys zoned up. And they do rotations, and I love that.
Yeah.
And I think that's missing in the game. And I also think, like, I want young coaches to work on. I don't feel like some of them have that work ethic that you talked about. Like, hey, we coach baseball, we coach basketball, we coach football. I did this. I swept the floor. I don't think they do that as much. And they got to study the game. I feel I'm embarrassed because I'm learning things now. I'm like, I wish I would have known that when I was coaching. That's embarrassing because I'm finding out something new every day, especially with Jackson filtering some stuff back. And with Coach Woodson, his first 2 years there, he really liked Coach Woodson, but I think some of his stuff was geared like NBA rotations because they're trying to stop superstars. And some of the other guys that coming in from teams that didn't just played, they struggle picking up defensive rotations like, hey, if these two guys come together, we're switching. If it's not that guy, you stay with it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's better to free up a guy. There's a fine line there where you free him up and you have some rules and you got to be able to do this. And
I think that's true, and I think you mentioned about the younger coaches paying the price, and
right.
It is. There's a lot that goes on in the off season and in the summertime where you're digging into some film or going to a clinic or visiting a school, and I don't know that we're getting that work ethic from young coaches like we once did.
No,
I'm sure, I don't mean to indict all of them, but I don't think overall is what I'm saying. I'm seeing it like, or hearing about it anyway. Shot clock. You're a guy that went to holding the ball for a while.
Yeah.
What do you think about the shot clock?
I like shot clock.
Okay.
It makes the strong stronger, but we dealt with it at Rend Lake. You just adjust.
Yeah.
We're hunting. We might take some shots earlier in the clock because we know that might be the best shot we get. And we talked about that at Rend Lake. Like, I'm okay with passing it. Jackson's open on the wing. We shoot it right away because we may not get an open look like that. And we also like grind that clock down and was really good at not panicking and getting a good shot, even though instead of just panicking and go throw one up.
I love that philosophy. You just adjust. I mean, that's and I haven't had a single coach say they were against it. Most of them said not that big a deal.
All right.
Yeah. I thought this was interesting. I mean, I had a question about rivalries. I know Centralia was on there, of course. I want to ask you about this. The decision to go to the new school and leave Chagnon Gym, because Chagnon Gymnasium
gone.
But it was a force to be dealt with. It was something, had a mystique about it. So was that hard for Mount Vernon?
Real hard.
Yeah.
Real hard for me because I never felt like I was at home, even 2 or 3 years in. I coached 4 years there with the new school. I was 2 prior to when I came back. I had 2 at the old and then 4 more there, and I never really felt like that was home. And my kids grew up in there.
Yeah.
The basketball court was the playground. We had our birthdays in there. We climbed on ropes. We played dodgeball in there. We played hockey. We learned to ride our bikes in there.
Did they bring anything to the new building?
Yeah, we got the centerpiece
Okay.
cut out, and I have several things. And a lot of people have like benches and a lot of the floor and those kind of things. But it's just, you look over there, it's just gone. And I try not to think about it.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Yeah.
And it hurt that end of town. You know how that is.
Yeah.
Hospital left, went out by the interstate, and then this high school left, it's out by the interstate.
Yeah.
Just killed the old part of town, which I hate.
Yeah.
I hate that. But, you know, change happens, and you just got to deal with it. And
What do you, in closing, what do you miss? What do you miss most about coaching? You're not coaching now.
I'm helping with freshmen.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you miss as far as being the head basketball coach at Mount Vernon High School? Are there things you miss? Are you at peace with that?
I'm at peace with it, but every now and then I get that itch.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I know more now.
Yeah.
I see a lot of things that I can do to help, and I'm sure like I'd like to go. I've had an opportunity because of Jackson to sit in Woodson's practice and sit into DeVries now practice and see things that they're doing like, man, I like that. And, should have done some of that. And they've had to adjust because every level, like you can get away with some things in high school. The next level, it depends on what level, but at the Big Ten, you ain't getting away with that. Yeah. And then at the other level, you're not, they might say you can't play it that way. Yeah. We can't get away with that. But
you'd love to talk to your younger self, wouldn't you? Yeah. I mean, I would love to be able to go back.
Didn't know anything. Embarrassed. But what I did know was play hard, be solid. And I think that was a good thing to go. You know, I talked to Scott the other day about I did a poor job offensive rebounding coach. Yeah. Because like I watch the Purdue's and people now, the good people, the Michigans, they're killing it on the glass. But then, like Scott said, but hey, you know what, Coach? You got to remember, like, we weren't really built that way. And I said, you're right. We did a great job on defensive rebounding. I was more worried about getting back, not giving people better than us easy layups and easy baskets. I wanted them to earn it. Yeah. And to a fault, maybe I was too conservative on some things. But.
Well, I think we both, you know, I started young too, and I
didn't know anything. I didn't know anything.
I wish I knew what I knew now.
Oh.
But that's going to be for any coach, no matter when they started. You're always going to get to the point where that experience, you've learned a lot because of mistakes you made or things you did right or people you've learned from. But it's a cool journey, and you've had an amazing run. I'm glad you're still coaching because you are still bringing value to a lot of kids' lives.
I hope.
And I know that the people of Mount Vernon speak so highly of you, and your legacy is there and going to be there for us.
Well, you may be talking to the wrong people because there's a lot of people there that might say something different.
Well, I think I appreciate you being here.
Oh, I appreciate you having me down, and I appreciate what you're doing. I love it.
Well, I'm just glad to bring people like you in here because everyone knows your name. They don't know your full story. We get a chance to share this today and talk about how you feel, how you coach, where your heart is, and I think there's a lot of value in that, so I appreciate that.
I want to say this, too, because I like people, coaches or people who are hunting records and all that stuff, like, you know, when you think about there's like 1 billion stars in our galaxy, and then there's billions and billions of galaxies, like you're like, that. Why was I so mad? I can remember JV baseball coaching, and our right fielder dropped a fly ball to win the game. He missed it. I was so mad, and I'm thinking, nobody cared. Coach Pankos used to say, there's 5 million Chinese people don't give a crap that we lost the game. And he had a good point.
No, it's true.
He had a good point.
I think
we put that pressure on ourselves, but now that I'm away from him, like, nobody really cares.
I think that's part of being out. The way I looked and thought and dealt with adversity and some of the things I magnified seems silly to me now that I've been out. And I wish if I could go back, I think I would. I don't know. Maybe once I got in there, I'd go right back to being that guy again. I'd like to think I would handle it better now that I've had time to sit back and say, I have a better look of what matters and what doesn't matter. But
like Dan Hurley, I'm still like, I saw a quote from Dan Hurley where he was mad about what the pregame music that his guys listen to. He said, no wonder we can't get through a screen and rebound. How you get ready to play with that music? I'm the same way. I'm like, what? Whose music is this?
I know. It's
but
crazy.
Just I think that's good though. We getting away from that a little bit.
Amen.
I'm not gonna apologize for being real conservative.
No, sir.
Having some old school values. So
old school's okay.
Old school's real good.
Yeah,
it worked.
It's good. It worked.
It worked.
Amen,
Darn right.
Well,
darn right.
Thanks again to Coach Creel.
Thank you for having us.
What a blessing.
Hey, great coffee.
Great coffee.
Great
Crown
coffee.
Brew. Thank you, Abby, for being here today.
Thank you, Abby.
Swinford Media, Swinford Wedding Videography and Photography. My buddies at Adrenaline, Matt and Jeff. Love you guys and thank you. And my buddy Tony Gooch, who really has a place in my heart right now.
Call that plumber. You got to have that plumber.
And I appreciate Tony and all he does. You got plumbing needs. And glad we're back, glad we're rolling again. Coach Creel got us started again for the winter season, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.